Hello, everyone. So we're back with another segment. The team is here from Talk Futbol Live to preview the semifinals. I think a lot of us have some interesting comments about what happened in the quarterfinals. We were, needless to say, shocked at some of the results that we witnessed, and we'll look at those before we analyze the matchups in the semifinals. The team is here with Charles, Biodun, and Ola. I think Ola had the craziest prediction for us coming in the quarterfinals with Morocco going through against Portugal. So I'm sure he has some excitement to share about what happened in that game. So, well, without further ado, let's jump into it. So Ola, your thoughts on the quarterfinals?
Well, let me start with the weirdest of them all, which was Brazil-Croatia. I never would have thought in my life to witness such a game. No goal until extra time. And then while we thought, okay, the game was almost over, we saw another goal from the Croatian. So never say never again. We discussed this and we said never, it's not going to happen. Yes, it has happened. So again, I wasn't surprised with the Morocco-Portugal match. I was expecting that. How it happened, many of us might be surprised, but I kind of saw that happening. A team that never conceded any goal from an opponent, only for an own goal, you should expect something like that from them. Other than that, I'm not really surprised. It's the only one is the Brazil-Croatia match. And I don't know. When we get to the segment where we're predicting now, I have some little things to say about the next semi-final games that we have.
So do you have enough faith to say Morocco can win this World Cup?
Not
Are you going all the way? Okay.
I'm not there yet. No.
All right, not yet. So Charles, what are your thoughts on the quarterfinals? Are you as equally surprised as at the Brazil-Croatia game?
Oh yeah. I feel like after the game happened, I felt I shouldn't have been surprised because Croatia made it to the final in the last World Cup. So yeah, that should have given us something to say. Maybe they still got it in them to push. But the game was actually very impressive the way Croatia played. I think they kind of handled Brazil well enough not to let Brazil do what Brazil usually does. Although eventually Neymar did the magic and scored that goal before they equalized. But I was very, very surprised. I was very, very surprised by that result. Very surprised and very impressed. And because of that result, if Croatia makes it to the final, I really wouldn't be surprised. Now, the other games, Netherlands, Argentina, very entertaining. I was impressed by the substitution, bringing in Weghorst towards the end for the equalizers against Argentina. I actually, once it was 2-0 up, Argentina was 2-0 up, I didn't think Netherlands was going to come back, but they really pushed and they were very impressive. Of course, things happened. They couldn't push through at the end of the day.
You mentioned that Weghorst substitution. I don't think we've seen that. I heard a lot of people, talking about how it's an interesting counter to the fact about or the new strategy where you have a defender lying down behind the wall, right? That's an alternative now to still keeping it on the ground, but bypassing that tactic.
Yeah. Now that whole tactic wasn't just even about Weghorst. Bringing in Weghorst at the end, I know how deadly Weghorst is. He used to play in Burnley. I'd seen him in Premier League. He was a constant in my fantasy league last season. So I know how deadly. So bringing him on, I kind of expected him to maybe threaten, maybe even score one goal, but I didn't see 2 goals going in. Yeah. So I think kudos to Van Gaal for doing that, putting faith in him. And I think Weghorst actually got a yellow card on the bench.
Yes.
I was surprised they were even going to bring him on. So when they brought him on, I was like, okay, this is a very, very risky move. You're bringing on a striker who has a yellow card, who is going to wrestle and bustle with the defenders of Argentina, probably push, get another yellow card, but that didn't happen. So that was a very impressive move. Which other game happened? Morocco, Portugal. Yeah, that's the game that we can't really say much about. Morocco, that team plays like a team. They did their job. They really held on to their formation from the get-go. They had this so-called Arabian wall, had the low block, and prevented Portugal from playing their game. So at some points, Portugal had to be throwing balls in, which was not as effective as getting the passes through the midfield and through the flanks. France, England. I would say that was the most disappointing game for me because I was rooting for England. I predicted 2-2 going to extra time penalties, which was this close to happening. But Harry Kane's nerves got the best of him, and we all know what happened eventually. Yeah. So I I predicted England winning, and I hope England will win, but I wasn't surprised France won because, one more thing I would say about England is England didn't manage that game well because they equalized, and within 6-7 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, France got a second goal. So that period of pressure that France mounted on them from when it was 1-1 to France got a second goal was mismanagement, in my opinion. It was a job of the coach to calm them down, keep them focused. Pickford really tried yelling and screaming, but they had thrown like 3 balls, like the third one that Giroud eventually got in before, before the goal happened. So I think mismanagement happened in those short few minutes when they could have stayed all packed back and at least control the game, get the ball and control the game. France had the ball for too long, tested them for too long, and they broke eventually.
Bjorn, you want to pick up there from the England-France game? I know you had some thoughts to share about that.
First, let me just say that I had to pick up myself because Friday wasn't a great day for me personally. I'm not Brazilian, but I was a Brazil fan for the World Cup, and that broke my heart. To be honest, I really had to pick myself up to continue to watch the World Cup games. So that's gone. I'm trying to get over it, but very, very, very deep disappointment. I want to push back on what Charles just said. I thought you should be saying mismanagement from the French team because France scored first, England equalized. And I think you say that because of the play, the way the play was. But really, for me, I think it was France not managing the game. And I can tell you the reasons why I said so. I think there was too much aggression from the back line of the French national team, which wasn't needed. I think they should have stayed more calm. And I don't know, I just keep going back to France 98. I've never seen, I think that's still one of the best, most experienced and coordinated team to win the World Cup in my own lifetime that I can remember, right?
I agree.
I still remember that experience and coordination with that French national team. Never was a time where Thuram, Desailly, Leboeuf, Didier Deschamps were panicking the way Upamecano, Hernandez blunders all over the place yesterday. Aggression from Hernandez wasn't needed. That aggression from Upamecano wasn't needed. And that is what you call game management. I was surprised that the coach didn't step on that and start shouting. I think there should have been a lot of shout. If we had maybe Pogba, obviously there would be more stuff coming out because he's very vocal. I needed somebody to be shouting yesterday at that back line. So for me, I think it was mismanagement on the side of the French national team, not the English national team, because the England tried to come back into the game, which they did. And they tried to come back the second time. So France should have just killed the game earlier. But it was a great game. I think it was a very balanced game. Again, my disappointment was all about what happened on Friday. I did say it that, we could see that. And I said it was going to be suicidal, right? I actually joked about it saying, this guy shouldn't go back to Brazil. They should just fly back to their individual clubs if they had lost, which they did. I don't know what's going to happen to them. I don't care at this point. I think that was a bunch of talent that should have landed the World Cup that messed up, in my own view. So that was a great disappointment. Morocco, I am sorry, and I would like to apologize if I had underrated. I think that team came out stronger than I thought. I actually said something during our last recording saying that they could be gassed out and they might need some time to recover. I think I was completely wrong. Now, would that happen again when they play France? I don't know. I'm looking forward to that game. I'm scared of predicting. If this was my full-time job, I should be fired by now.
Thank God it's not. Can I respond to his comment about the France?
Yeah, go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely, France had their own mismanagement also. Those defenders were all over the place. They played like they haven't played together. They've never played together. I agree with you on that, but I'm more talking about the crucial moment because honestly, that game could have been dragged 1-1 till extra time. They really could have. England could have done that. When France it's one thing to concede, but it's another thing to step up and equalize and then score another goal. When the game was 1-1, That was the point. I'm speaking from England's standpoint now. I understand France was mismanaged. Their 2 goals were, the first goal was a penalty for England. The second goal that was supposed to happen, but didn't happen, was also a penalty. So yeah, France defense, they did mess up. But the point where it was 1-1 between France and England did not settle. I don't know, maybe they celebrated too much. I don't know what it was. But they never settled from the time they scored their equalizer to the time France scored their second goal. There was never a moment England had their shape back. There was never a moment they had their composure back. There was never a moment they had the ball and control of the game. It was all France, 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 France. And after France scored the second goal, everything settled back again. So the point is, England had a chance to drag that game to extra time on 1-1, but did not. That was where the crucial mismanagement was. Harry Kane didn't score the penalty, could have dragged it to 2-2, but that's the story from that day.
Yeah. So my impression of that England-France game, right? I think we all said when we looked at the quarterfinal preview that was probably going to be the hardest game to predict. I think you and I, Charles, said it would be a draw at the end of regular time and possibly going into extra time where France will win it. We did call France to win that game. Needless to say, I think a lot of our other predictions went to the garbage can after this round. But I was very impressed with the England team. I think I called Saka. Saka is a favorite player for me, and I till this point don't understand why he went off, because all the threat and all the danger of the actual creation was coming from Saka's wing. I don't know if it was exhaustion or what was going on, but I didn't really see any threat from anyone else. England, I think they did a great job. Southgate did a good job of setting up the team. We talked about how Kyle Walker is probably the best right back of the 3 in the squad to handle Mbappe, and I think he did a fantastic job. Also credit to Mbappe's excellence. We saw that when he saw that there was no route going down the wing, he opted to come in field a lot of times. I think there was only one time that he went past Walker the whole game, and Walker did survive the match as opposed to what you were thinking, Piotr. But so intelligence about that. I think one other thing we called out was, for such a high level game, right? The maturity of the young players in that team. We're talking of a Tchouaméni, who I think is 21, Saka is 21, Mbappe is 23, 24. We're talking of very young players.
Jude is 19.
Jude Bellingham, right? Jude Bellingham. So we're talking of 5, 6 top players. Upamecano is also 23, I believe. Theo Hernandez, I believe, is also 22. So we're talking of 7, 8 players who are the top already of their profession, right? Playing in such a big game, and I think they all delivered. You talked about how, I think someone talked about how France handled, France 98 building. You mentioned about France 98, how they were able to, be composed in the back. And I would say that lack of maturity is probably what I counted against France, which I didn't have them going all the way to the final in my bracket. I thought that inexperience might count for them at some point, and I had them going out against Portugal in the semifinals, which they did make it to the semifinals, but Portugal are out. So very interesting matchups all around. Morocco surprised everyone. I think we said Morocco might be an outside contender when we looked at the round of 16 of who could be an underdog to win the World Cup. They are proving us wrong. They're proving everyone wrong so far. Netherlands, Argentina, I don't think we're too surprised. We felt that one could go either way. Argentina came out on top.
If you guys remember, sorry to interrupt you, my prediction was for Netherlands 3. Yep. I was waiting for that third goal, but it didn't come true. Yeah.
Right. Brazil, Croatia, like you, Bjorn, honestly, I was down as well on Friday. I'm not Brazilian, but I was hurt because I expect so much more from that Brazilian team, right? And it was disappointing that they couldn't break through. I've been impressed with what Tite has done in terms of his selection. It looked like he picked, players who were willing to do whatever it takes, hard workers. He picked grafters for the team, Richarlison, Rafinha, players who will run, who are also very skillful, but will also do the dirty work. And I was surprised he took them off early, which they did score after those changes, but I felt those guys would eventually have broken down the Croatian team if he had kept them on. But
I have a question for you.
Go ahead, Charles.
Do you guys think there was poor management, mismanagement, whichever you want to put it, on Tite's side after Brazil scored?
Yes.
Do you think they could have maybe be more defensive? Because in my opinion, or based on what I saw, Brazil played the same attacking style they have even after they scored.
Before
they
they go and
like they needed another goal, which they didn't really need. And I think that really exposed their backline.
I think
so
you're
just
right.
me that saw that, or we're all in agreement
No,
on that?
I saw the same thing too. What I don't understand was who dictated that, who told them to do that. I saw a couple of times where Neymar was yelling at those guys to fall back, to come back, to come back. I mean, it's like there's no one on that field that could marshal the entire team, that could tell them what we need to do versus what not to be done.
Is that where the coach comes in?
Exactly. That's where the coach should have come in. I was like, what's going on with this guy? You are 1 goal up. You have like 10 minutes to go. What are you doing? So if you're trying to, if we're trying to blame someone, I think I should blame the coach for that. Honestly, Neymar is tried his best, but I don't know what went wrong. It's like he was talking to, I don't know what this guy was doing. Fred, what was Fred trying to do just before that goal? Look at what happened. Fred was like trying to, like, guy, dude, come back. They made a tactical mistake. They should have just left one guy who could run, counter-attack up front while they all defended their goal. What went wrong? I just don't know. It's crazy.
Anyway, the past is the past now. Let's look to the future. Let's talk about the matchups in the semifinals, right? So we have Argentina going up against Croatia, and we have France going up against the almighty Arabian War.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Charles?
Thoughts without predictions or with predictions?
Are you still brave enough to give predictions? If you're brave enough, then by all means, go ahead.
What's the worst that happen? My prediction will be wrong and we'll move on, right? But realistically, France, Morocco, easier to call because it's France that are the defending champions.
Yeah. So sorry to interrupt. Maybe let's focus on the France-Morocco game first, right? So let me bring up potential lineups and let's look at what that might look like.
Yeah, I was about to call for that because the Moroccan lineup, this is potential. So I see Size is missing because of the injury.
Yeah.
I'm seeing in parentheses, so he may play, he may not play.
Yeah.
The thing about France is they are loaded in every position. You understand? We know Mbappe was kind of stopped by Kyle Walker, and as we've said before several times, Kyle Walker is one of the few defenders in the world that can undo Mbappe. He's one of the fastest defenders in the world. He's one of the reasonably most disciplined defenders in the world when it comes to the back. He may not divide in attack, but at the back, he tends to hold his ground. Morocco doesn't have no Kyle Walker. So I fear Mbappe and Dembele may have a free run. Now, that's one aspect. Morocco, on the other hand, they've shown us time and time again that they know what they are doing. They play well as a team. They know how to undo any form of attack. And they don't just do that by defending. They also do that by countering. They also attack back. They didn't just take the pressure, they give you pressure too, which we saw in the Portugal game. So I still predict France can win this or will win. I really want Morocco to win. So who I want and who I predict, two different things. I really want Morocco to win for Africa, but I'm predicting France to win. Exactly, head versus heart. I'm predicting France to win because I just don't see that Morocco, especially with all the injuries, the rumors of the injuries they have in the camp, I don't see them stopping Mbappe and Dembele. And not to even talk about Giroud up front. If they can't stop Mbappe and Dembele, they can't stop Giroud. So I'm giving it to France in my prediction. Scoreline, I would say 1-0 because Morocco, as we know, is the only team that has not conceded from an opponent in this tournament. They've considered one goal, which is an own goal. So I know it's going to be hard for France. France is not going to score that many goals, or may not, but I expect at least a goal. So 1-0 going to France.
Bjorn.
Oh man,
I have the same prediction.
Yeah.
Bjorn is not predicting anymore.
We'll see if I'm bold enough to make a prediction at the end of my contribution to this. But I just want to give props to this Moroccan team. Been really impressed. I had to go back and look into my stat for this team, and I'm like, this is a team. If you're looking for a team in a tournament, not a group of very great and popular and the best players in the world. I think this is a team, right? You've seen the work they've done. This is a team whereby someone is injured or someone is taken out and somebody comes in. It doesn't matter what the back of your jersey says, right? It doesn't matter the name you carry. It's about you filling the role. So there's a structure, there's a way we want to play, and somebody comes in and, do the job, just fill in, and we're not worried, and you do the job. So I think this is a very good example of a team in a tournament. Now, I'm just hoping again that they are not gassed out because they've had to put in a lot of hard work. Have they scored a lot of goals? No. Have they considered? As a matter of fact, this team has not considered any goal from any team, right? The goalkeeper, Bono, is the first African player to keep a clean sheet in a World Cup edition. 3 clean sheets, right? That's a great record. My guy that I'm looking at, and I wish Arsenal could land this guy, Amrabat. Amrabat is one of the best defensive midfielder coming out of this tournament. This guy has won possession 41 times. The best out of anybody in this tournament. The sad thing is that Liverpool is going after this guy. And I also found out that Conte was going to get this guy when he was at Inter Milan. It didn't come true. Now he's trying to get him again. I hope it doesn't come true. Conte, you already have Bissouma. You already Bentancur. Why do you need that about? You want to shut down the entire EPL? So again, I think Arsenal did the best, right? Because Partey is getting old. And I can just not imagine, can we get this guy? This guy has come out of this tournament as one of the best defensive men. People talk about Tchouaméni. He's a young guy, he's great. I think it's the future. But Amrabat, I think, is 26, 3 or 4 years older than Tchouaméni. I think Amrabat is good in that position. I think he's going to deliver the same performance. And Ezri is great. But it's funny that I'm saying this because other than Ziyech, that is very popular, being a Chelsea player, most of these guys are not well known like their other opposing teams, right? But they've put out and they've showed us what a team looked like. Now, if I look at the French team, I think this is going to be a very balanced game. Now, I think quality will decide where this thing ends.
Where do you see the key matchups?
So, Hakimi, Mbappe, that's a very great. If you guys have looked at their tweets, right? Looking forward to it. Hakimi is like, man, looking forward to the game. Mbappe looking forward to this. Again, just think about it. Mbappe probably trains with Hakimi every day.
Yeah.
Probably a matchup like, you can't beat me. So I think Hakimi is ready for this. And I think Mbappe is probably worried that this is probably one of the guys that knows me the best. So I think that's a very good matchup right there. Now, where do I see another matchup? I see Amrabat stopping Griezmann. Griezmann is one hard-working guy on that French team. And I see Amrabat built for this, right? So that's another matchup that I see, right? In terms of attack, I'm not sure if Morocco can pose a lot of threats because we haven't seen them convert a lot of chances. And that's where I'm worried for Morocco. Right? But France, on the other side, you have the headmaster. He doesn't need to be involved. He can do a lot of hold down play. When the ball comes into the air, I think he's ready. However, the Moroccan team has been very good in the air. So I'm hoping that Size is back and his feet, and he can, prevent those crosses. Dembele was great yesterday until towards the end. I think maybe it was tired, right? And it went up. But Dembele could probably have a good game on that side. I'm not sure if it can be shut down.
I want some thoughts on Dembele. So Dembele, we know, is a fantastic player, right? And I mean, we all know what he brings to the table. He's left-footed and right-footed. You don't really know he's one of those few players who is equally capable of the dribble and shooting with both feet. But we haven't really seen him deliver in this tournament. I haven't seen any goals or assists. Do you think this could be the game where he breaks through?
I think it might be. So I'll borrow something that a friend said on a different platform yesterday. He said, this guy Dembele is an enigma. And I was like, what do you mean? So this guy get injured like 2/3 of the season. Yet he was fit for the World Cup. I think we need to look into that. I think we need to probe that. So how Dembele could make it to the guy that sits on the table, for the surgical table, almost throughout the season, most times.
I think he's just built for the World Cup. That's what it is.
Oh, maybe that luck would come on. I see him giving me that, those moments yesterday. It didn't really come through. Yes, I agree with you. Griezmann had the best assists so far. As a matter of fact, Griezmann now holds 27 assists in the French national team, ahead of Zinedine Zidane
and Thierry Henry.
Yeah. So Griezmann just broke that record. So I think the Billy still has a long way to go. Now, could it be a game changer for him? Maybe, maybe not. But I think Mbappe is still the best French player in this game. If we could have those moments, I think he ran away from Walker at the end of the day yesterday. He tried to come into the middle. Let's see what happened. But I think I'm going to call it for France. And I think I'm going to go with a 2-0 win.
Okay, bold. So I think, right, looking at this game, and when I looked at the France team, I think we talked about it on this earlier as well. The structure that they've had coming into this tournament. So the previous World Cup, it was Giroud with the knockdowns and Griezmann running onto those balls, getting on the end. And they switched that up this World Cup, right, where Griezmann is the creator, right, and Giroud is more the focal point for the team. And you talked about Griezmann possibly getting shut down, but I'm really looking forward to that matchup to see how he gets stopped, because again, in the quarterfinals, he had 2 assists, right? Both of the assists for France against England came from Griezmann.
Yeah.
And we call that out. Griezmann drifts all over the field in the attack, right? He's not staying in that 10 role. He's popping up on the left, receiving the ball from Mbappe to deliver across. He's popping on the right to support Dembele. He's receiving the ball from Tchouaméni and Rabiot in midfield. He's popping up everywhere. And I think, again, that he will be the danger man going into the semifinals. Morocco, I was going to talk about their defense, right? So I captured a couple of images from the quarterfinals that I think are very interesting, and we should maybe take a second to look at. So you talked about them being gassed out, Bjorn. This is in the 90th minute or almost, right? This is at 89-26. They had an attack, and they lost the ball. And you can see at this point, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in Portugal's half. This is in the 90th minutes. 8 seconds later, right? 89-34. This solid back five, the Arabian wall, as Ola famously says to them, has been reconstructed. These 2 guys are up here, right? They're about half the field away from where they are 8 seconds later. They've recovered. The defense is back in a solid shape. The 5-2-3, you can clearly see an outline. And I think this speaks to the testament and helps us understand why this team has barely conceded any goals in this tournament. There is discipline throughout. Even when Saiz, who, football lovers might be more familiar with, he plays at Wolves. Even when he got injured, there was no difference when Diary came in as a substitute, right? This is Diary, I believe, right back in that position. It was almost as if it's just plug and play, right? If we talked about Mazraoui being injured, and Atats Allah came in the left back position. It was almost as if it was the same Mazraoui playing. He was solid throughout, and there was no getting past him. So for Morocco, it's going to be an interesting matchup to see how they perform against France. I think I'm going to stop making predictions, because honestly,
no, I think Chas and I went. So you got to go, man, bro.
Yeah, you have to go. We've done our part. You got to do yours too.
Give us something.
So I love France. I feel like my second nationality is probably French, and for that reason,
not English. Not English.
No,
right?
not England. Not England.
Okay.
Not England. My second nationality is actually France. If I'm to claim a nationality, I would go for France using my heart, and I would say
not your head.
Not my head. I think this World Cup has defied all logic, which honestly I love, because I would say this is the most competitive World Cup that I've seen in my lifetime.
Yep.
I have very little memories of 94, but 98 onwards, we in the first round of games usually have some matchups where you don't know what's going to happen. And we thought we might get at this World Cup, but Costa Rica, after they lost 6-1 to Spain, we were like, Costa Rica are the whipping boys. But no, they came back and they won their second game. So I think this was a balanced World Cup where really any team could have won. Qatar, even though they lost, they played with verve all throughout. We thought they might even be able to do something in some of the games, right? They fought throughout the games. And I think it was a good showing for them as well. Canada as well, they lost all 3 games. I think those were maybe the 2 worst teams. Canada lost all 3 games as well, but up until the last game, you still thought they could win. So for me, this has been the world's best World Cup so far. Ola, I think we'll get your thoughts. So the 3 of us have so far said
No,
France.
Ayo,
Yeah.
you're going for France. What is the scoreline?
I tried to get out of that one.
Oh, come on, bro. No.
All right. I'm gonna plug for a 2-0 win for France.
Okay. Bold.
Yeah.
So you are with building on that. Okay. So for me,
Ola is gonna say Morocco is gonna win. We just know what's coming.
We know the Arabian war.
I'm sorry to disappoint you. I just checked the status of the Arabian war. I saw some cracks in it. So I'm so sorry. Just let you know.
Let's build the wall again. Bro, let's build it back.
On the road, still I can't let you go. So here's my prediction. It's a 1-0 win, France. Okay? Now, how did I conclude? How did I get to that junction? Look, there hasn't been anything like Mbappe versus Hakimi. We haven't seen that in this World Cup before. What I've seen from the Moroccan team is the ability to contain the attackers coming from probably most time from the middle. Hey, we are going to be seeing 2 guys from the flanks coming, Mbappe and Dembele. These are 2 powerful, very fast guys. I don't see how they can contain those 2 guys. That's the point number 1. Point number 2 is this. Hey, there's only a little your luck can take you through. I'll be honest with you. Moroccan national team will be very lucky up to this level. I give the guys, I'm not trying to underrate them, or I give them all that they've done. They've done a fantastic job. I mean, I looked at the stats from the last game. They have 27% of the possession, and yet they won the game. Look at the formation that Ayo just shared with us. Look at how they played. It's like you're playing a video game, the way they formed that wall. I'm so sorry to disappoint you guys. Look at something. This is going to be the toughest match ever. And here's how France will win. Once the French national team scores their first goal, that's a problem for the Moroccans. They will lose everything they've practiced all along, because all they do is to contain and contain and contain. But when the goal comes, now the problem with them is they are used to, like say, people coming from the center, right? Now, France can score from anywhere. It could be Mbappe, it could come from Dembele's side, it could be from the central, it could be from the headmaster. Headmaster can score anytime. It doesn't matter. Even when he's 40, he's still scoring with those heads. So this is where the danger is for the Moroccan national team. And I say, hey, Charles and I think I'm going to agree with you on this. It's going to be a 1-0 win for the French national team. I'm so sorry to say, my guys, you're coming back home.
Did Charles go with 1-0?
He did.
Yeah, I went with 1-0, yeah, but I want to say something real quick. I agree with a lot of things you said, except for, well, let me tell you the things I agree with first of all. I know France is going to come at Morocco, all guns blazing. I mean, you may need to tell our viewers who the headmaster is. The headmaster is Giroud, number 9.
Yes. Only for Giroud.
Yes. So everyone look out for that name. But I actually think after Hakimi versus Mbappe is a matchup we would see. But I am expecting more results from Dembele's side. You asked the question earlier, is this the game where we see Dembele, or why has Dembele not been delivering? Dembele is like a ticking time bomb. I think when he stays fit, his intensity improves. Every game, it gets better. And we saw what he did in England's game. There were sparks. There were sparks of, what this guy knows how to do. I think the wing play, like Ayo mentioned, Morocco handles pressure from the center. We've not really seen challenge from the wing. I think the wing play is going to overwhelm Morocco. I agree with Ayo on that. Ola on that, sorry. Dembele is probably going to be the man to watch, because I think Hakimi can hold his own. In my opinion, he's one of the best right backs in the world right now. He plays with Mbappe at PSG, so they know each other. Just like we saw Harry Kane versus Lloris yesterday, aside from the penalty, there were kind of some one-on-one connections that Lloris knew what Harry Kane was going to do. I think it happened like twice. Summary is, I think Dembele versus Allah or whoever's going to be on the left is going to be a matchup to watch.
Allah.
Amrabat, Griezmann. I'm not sure. The way Griezmann drifts around, I'm not sure Amrabat will be able to handle him. So I'm not going to even debate or talk about that. Now, where I disagree with Ola is the statement luck. Mm-hmm. Morocco has done everything in this tournament aside from exercise luck. These guys have worked hard. You've seen their structure, you've seen their formation, you've seen their off-the-ball movements, like you showed us. It's so detailed, it's so well constructed. You can't tell me that is luck. That is
you're right.
Yes, so right. I wouldn't say their luck has run out because maybe they're about to activate their luck in this game and make use of it. Because what they've been doing all through has
not been luck. Yeah.
Okay, so
can I just quickly?
No disrespect for Moroccan national team. I really, really appreciate what they brought to the World Cup this season. But let me also say something. We've been talking about Hakimi and Mbappe. I'm so sorry to disappoint you guys. You might not see that when they meet. I think Mbappe, knowing well that this is my right-hand guy, he will probably drift inline most of the time. He will try and avoid that. And I think it's up to Hakimi if he can run around the field, because Mbappe is a very fluid guy. He's not going to stay too much on that side. I think you will have to be chasing him around the field that day. That's number one. Then number two, Dembele's comment. I'm not surprised Dembele is playing at this level. I'm not surprised at all. There's some players that are built for their national team. They might disappoint you in the club level, but when it comes to national team, forget about it. And we know, Biodo, you can bear witness, I'm going to take you down the history lane. You remember Mr. Gabalawa back then in the day. Now, jokes apart, look at this guy. I'm trying to remember the guy that didn't make the World Cup for France. Or what's his name?
Benzema.
No, the former Man U guy.
Pogba.
Pogba in national team is not Pogba in the club. We all know that. We saw that the last time. So Dembele, I'm not surprised at all. And I think you're going to see more as during the semi-final game. And I think what you haven't seen, Ayo, get ready. You're going to see more from Dembele on the next game.
So can I just win? For one, we have 2 games left for France. That's if they succeed, if they win the semi-final. So it's just 2 games for Dembele. I don't think we're going to see anything spectacular, to be honest. I think it's going to do more than the England game. I think it did well. I think that was an improvement. But he has just 2 games left if they win the what's it called? The actually 3rd place is there as well. So we'll see what happens with Dembele. You also notice it's been getting subbed for Conan, right? Which also means that there's also an option on the bench, right? Doesn't do well. And to be honest, Conan is a very great player. It's just that Dembele is better. Conan is very quick as well, and he knows how to cut in and cut out. So it's very quick. Now, national team, it might not be fit, like we said, right? Some players are not just at that level when it comes to national team. But I just want to call out something, even though I went with France, right? If Morocco won on, is it Tuesday or Monday? If they won that game, I would also not be surprised, because somebody brought up the issue of possession, say they had 27%. I just want to draw your attention back to Euros 2004 when Greece won. That was one of the, maybe set in the world of football, right? And that was an underwhelming tournament. I mean, I still feel like I should go and steal that trophy from Greece and give it to somebody else. I still don't think they deserve it, right? To be honest, I still don't think. Now, in that tournament, nothing. Possession, nothing. They won the tournament. Now, would this be a replay of that? Having Morocco doing that? I think Morocco has actually played better than the way Greece did when they won Euros 2000.
Oh, definitely.
So, I disagree as well. Ola said luck. No, this is no luck. Let's just give props to who the property. My point still remains the same thing. I called out the matchup because I felt there would be a matchup. But ideally, the way the Morocco team is set up,
I told you how much I love you.
Against each one of them, right? It's a matter of a team. They don't care. It doesn't matter who the name is, like I said, right? Bakwe comes to the left. Whoever is there will do the job. Whether it's going to be Amrabat doing the job, somebody will do the job. That's the way they'll be. I'm just saying that Hakimi is good enough to withstand. If Walker could deliver, why not Hakimi? That's the point I'm trying to make. But these guys will play as a team. I don't care. I don't think they care who you are. I think they will play as a team and they will play in a compact position to block out anybody. It is for France to do the job. And I said 2-0 because I have seen the gap with Morocco. They don't convert a lot. So I don't know how many chances they would get. That give it to France, saying that they might convert most of their chances. But again, anything could happen, but I'm still sticking with France.
I would love to see a joke. Just a quick comment. I would love to see a joker move from France coach, flipping Dembele and Mbappe, just so Hakimi faces something different.
I think physically, I think you are trying to send Dembele back to the surgical table.
Hey, if he delivers
I think Hakimi will just crush him.
No,
Well,
I don't think that would happen. I think the France I think Deschamps is going to keep the same lineup. I was going to talk about what Ola said as well about luck.
Hey, guys, can we take out this lock?
It was a very strong comment.
You said it, we're not letting it go.
I think one thing that I've been impressed with this Morocco team as well is how well they move the ball, and that speaks against the luck factor, right? So I talked earlier about their discipline, right? Even up until the 90th minute, how disciplined they are to get back in shape, regardless of how exhausted or tired they might be. But I'm also even very more impressed with how they move the ball in terms of transitioning out of defense when they recover the ball. Hakimi, Yamik, Unahi, and Ziyech, the way they combine the ball and move the ball up front with En-Nesyri, to me, was spectacular. How they did it against the Portugal game. They move the ball so quickly and they transition forward. They hardly lose the ball once that transition starts.
That's right.
So I think the key matchup, we talk about matchup, but if we're talking about zones, it's going to be right and left in this game. So let's go ahead and look at the Argentina game real quick. All right, Argentina, Croatia. Possibilities. Ola, do you want to kick off on this one?
You know what? Let me defer to Biodun on this. Biodun, I wanted to take a lead. I would definitely have something to say. Biodun, up to you.
Oh my God. My heart, my head, the go with Croatia. That's because of this guy that I'm seeing that is staring at my face, Charles. He's a great Messi fan. I'm not an hater of Messi.
I'm not a Messi fan. No.
I just don't want Messi to win.
Yes, you are. Charles, you are.
I think the more games Messi wins, the stronger that team becomes. And I think we need to stop them right now. I just don't want Messi to win this World Cup. I'm sorry, but I love you, Messi. I think you're one of the best. I think you're one of the best players that have graced this wonderful.
So why not? Why don't you want Messi to win?
Because
I'm tired about this media comparison about with the GOAT, and I don't think we'll have rest. I just want to enjoy these guys. I just want to enjoy the game. It's great to compare them at some times, but that conversation is going to last forever because he's won Africa, he's won Champions League, he's won everything. Now you're going to land him the World Cup. Can he and Ronaldo just buy out without the World Cup so that we can be good, right? So that's where I'm with that, right? Plus, I don't think they've done spectacularly well to win the World Cup. I think they've had some narrow escape. So why should they go ahead and, but again, we've seen Bulgaria losing to Nigeria, right?
And making all the
US in 94 and going all the way to semifinals. So losing Arabia is nothing, right? Which is fine. So great team by Messi. I think they have improved. I think it's going to be a very tough game. But I have to say that I'm giving it to Croatia. Why? Because this is a team that has played like Morocco. And I don't think we should forget that. They might not have the stats like Morocco, but I think this is a team that has played like Morocco. These people have not been intimidated by anything. If you could win and pull off a win against Brazil, I think you're a good candidate. These guys are old guys, but I think they are strong enough to go. And that's because of the experience. I mean, how could Perisic still be delivering at this level? That speaks to the experience and
35.
To the willingness they are willing to give. You are one of the best attacking midfielder in the world, the best passers of the ball, right? Modric is the right there. This Brozovic guy, man, that guy, give it to him. He runs around the field, and I think he covers the most distance than any other Croatian on this team. So I think this team is built up. Now, how did they win that game? Kudos to that goalkeeper. I think he should be the man of the match. I can't remember who they gave it to, but I think that guy should have been the man of the match. He did not only save the penalty kicks, he saved the game. There were goals that were denied that Brazil should have wrapped up the game earlier, or it didn't. So that's what we talk about a team. It's not just your players, it's not just your defenders and all that. When you have everybody on their A game and you have your goalkeeper on your A game and you have the crowd behind you, I think that's what delivers victory most times that people don't realize. That guy was up to the task. He delivered the game for the Croatians. I see them playing that again. I see them bringing that same energy against Messi. And I think it's going to be tough. Scoreline, I think it's going to be a 2-1 to the Croatians.
Okay.
Wow. That's a tough
Charles.
call.
Charles.
Yeah.
I'll stay back.
Yeah, look. I don't want to use that word because you guys are gonna go after me again.
No,
but let me be honest. Let me be honest with you guys. Let's be honest. So Croatia did the same thing last World Cup, all the way to the final. What happened at the finals? They did everything
got torn
right.
apart.
They lost by 4-2. Now, why? At some point, the elastic limit has to be exceeded. That is the law in physics. Look, Croatia will not get to the final. Let me be honest with you. This is the end of the road for Croatia. I think how they're going to do it is they're going to try to contain Argentina like it did for Brazil. They have 57% of the possession last game against Brazil, world number one, so to say. Now, Argentina would go back and watch that game, look at everything Brazil did wrong. And what they need to do, force Croatia to play your game. Do not succumb to Croatia trying to do their own to containing you and then try to go up front and just. Now, if Argentina, which I think we would do that, I think it's going to end up being like a 1-0 win or, no, there's no or in this prediction, okay? 1-0 win Argentina. I think Croatia has done so well. I dug my hat for them. The men have done so well, but this is not it. This is not what they can do anymore. It's end of the road. They are going to go home. Argentina are going to beat them 1-0.
So nothing coming from the little magician there. No goals from Modric in this game.
Modric, look, do you remember the last game? He was actually substituted at some point, right? He was gassed out.
But that was an extra. It went into extra time. That's
yes.
Talking about a 37-year-old player.
That's when you need your best player in the extra time.
No. I actually disagree. You talk about the same age as Ronaldo that sat on the bench. I'm sorry, no dig at Ronaldo, but
he won't be your best player if he's tired.
The game went into an extra time. That was expected.
Yeah.
So my point to you is this. Modric, due respect to you, but again, you are facing a tougher opponent. You're facing an opponent that will take time to study all your tactics and then match you up. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Croatians. I see Argentina having an edge. I mean, how are they going to contain? Messi is playing like Messi of 10 years ago right now. All of a sudden, I'm like, where was this Messi at the beginning of the tournament? All of a sudden, we saw a new Messi who will killer passes, shots. He's playing like it was 10 years ago. So, and when Messi is playing at that level, I don't know how you're going to stop him or stop the other guys who are the supporting cast. So I think it's going to be a 1-0 win for Argentina. Croatia, thank you. Go and play top place with Morocco, and Morocco is going to defeat you in top place.
So we'll come back to what you said about tactics, but I want to hear from Charles on this game.
For a start, I would say Bionu's comment about me being a Messi fan. I'm a fan of football. And when someone is good at what he does, I show respect. I'm a fan of both Messi and Ronaldo. I'm indifferent towards the two of them, but I'm a fan because I'm a fan of football. Now, let's go back to the issue of Croatia versus Argentina. I actually think this game is... I'm sorry?
No, ignore me.
I actually think this game is harder to call than Morocco, France. Because, like you said, Croatia, they were in the final in the last World Cup. They've played so well like Morocco has been doing in these tournaments. And we know they know each other, they play well as a team. Argentina been scraping results, but they've been delivering. So I think this game is a very, very hard game to call. But one thing I would say is there are two players that will determine this game. One is the best midfielder in the world. One is the best attacker in the world. Or best midfielder in the world versus best footballer in the world. Let's put it that way. At the end of the day, I think it's going to take a magical moment. I would say it's going to be 2-1 in favor of Argentina because someone's magic is going to go above the others. I don't need to mention names. You guys know both of them, Modric and Messi. Let me just open it up. I think these guys are good. They understand their team. The team understands them. The teams are built around them. Croatians play for Modric. Argentines play for Messi. So at the end of the day, it's going to be which one of them outperforms the other. And as we all know, Messi is a better footballer overall. And Messi has been getting better game by game. So I'm going to give it to Argentina on that note, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Croatia takes the win. Because, like I said, that team is solid.
You can't be both. You have to give us
I'm not both.
No, so he called it for Argentina.
I'm calling for Argentina 2-1.
Yeah.
Okay, really?
But
You don't need your
compared
surprise.
to
Just call it and move on.
No, I can't just move on. Compared to Brazil versus Croatia, I was surprised Croatia beat Brazil.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised if Croatia beat Argentina. That's what I'm saying. Although I expect Argentina to beat Croatia. 2-1 is what I'm calling it. And like you guys all know, we all did our brackets at the beginning of the tournament. Everyone except me chose Brazil.
Okay, can we go to IO right now?
So
Can we get your team?
I chose Argentina.
Before you start going on and on about Argentina, Messi.
I chose Argentina and I'm sticking with it. It wasn't just about Messi. I told Ayo when I chose Argentina, I'd seen them play for the past 2-3 years. They had a record. They were unbeaten for like 2 years until they lost to Saudi Arabia in the first game. Not because of Messi only, because of the way the team plays. They play as a team. They give their hearts. So I think that is going to go and take them into the final. Ayo, your turn.
Yeah, so I'm trying to see where the key matchups are. So one thing I'll call out, right? I think Bjorn talked about Amrabat's maybe being the best defensive midfielder in the tournament. I would say Brozovic has been maybe that guy for me. He covers an amazing amount of distance. I think up until in the first 4 games of the tournament, he had covered 56 kilometers so far, which is an average of about 14 kilometers per game. That is an insane amount, even at the top level. You know, most players, even in the midfield, cover somewhere between 10 and 12 kilometers. So he's averaging 14 per game, which means he's probably making more. He has about 13 blocks so far in the tournament, which means he's right there. He can snuff out the danger and he's putting his body on the line when he sniffs danger. So in as much as we were surprised, I think what we're calling out so far is defense is very important, right? We're saying we're not going to be surprised if Croatia wins this. And we said the same thing that, you know, in as much as Morocco has been solid, their defense has kept them up. They haven't conceded any goals. Croatia has also been very solid. They have that Gvardiol, young guy, but he has shown a lot of maturity beyond his years. I think he's only 20 years old at the moment. And we've seen a lot of maturity from him in terms of his composure, his ability to ride out and carry the ball out of the back. Personally, that's who I would want Arsenal to pick up if I'm being partial for Arsenal out of this World Cup, because I think Gabriel needs a backup or a substitution, which I would think Gvardiol could even maybe start ahead of Gabriel. You know, nowhere else. I think we have enough. We know enough of the quality everywhere else. I think key for Argentina is that they've brought in Alvarez in place of Martinez, and I think they need to continue with that strategy. One thing to note, right? Argentina has had 92 free kicks in this World Cup. And I think that's where the game is going to be decided. I think we might see a Messi free kick being a decider in this game. And for that reason, I would likely call maybe a 1-0 win. I think it's going to be some little piece of magic from a set piece situation from Messi in this World Cup. The rest of the team works hard. Like we mentioned, Argentina plays for Messi. They will look for him to deliver that piece of magic, whether it's in delivering the final goal or in finding a pass. You know, we saw his pass to Molina, which if you look at the play-by-play of how that was executed, it was like in that split second in that lane was the only opportunity to get the ball through to Molina, and he delivered a perfect ball. We've seen his passes and his linkage with Alvarez as well up front, and Alvarez has got a couple of goals in as well. So I think that's where the key is going to be in. Probably something from a set piece and a 1-0 win for Argentina. It's going to be tight again, but like Charles tried to chicken out at the end, I wouldn't be surprised if Croatia wins either, because we've seen what their defense has done at this World Cup.
Yeah, can I just say something? I know this is a possible lineup from us, right? But real quick, I think Acuna is suspended for the semi-final game, so Acuna may not be playing.
Okay.
And they played Dybala on that position.
Just to get a game time.
Yeah, no. I just feel so sad for him. Came all the way to Qatar. He hasn't even kicked the ball.
Nope.
What do you say about this guy? Our guy from France that played for Arsenal, defender. What's his name?
Well, he's played already.
Saliba played.
Game against Tunisia.
Oh, yeah.
Saliba played. He came on as a sub.
The third game against Tunisia, the one that they lost.
That's true. Yeah.
Now, I just want to add something real quick before we begin to wrap up, right? Yes, Croatia had a 52% possession against Brazil, which is actually surprising as well, right? Like, I'm looking at the final stat and seeing how Croatia had more of the possession.
Yeah.
I don't think, and again, this is me personally, I don't think Croatia would have to do that much job that they did against Brazil versus Argentina. I don't think the attack that they faced and stopped against Brazil, I don't think Argentina would provide such attack.
Mm-hmm.
This is me. I might be surprised. And you guys have seen from the games that Argentina has played. These guys withheld Brazil. They withheld one of the best attacking games on Friday. Now, did Tite make a mistake? I think he did. I think taking out Vinny Jr. was too early in the game. So he made some tactical mistake. But if a game could go toe-to-toe with Brazil, survived, come on, man. This is Argentina. I think it's going to be a lesser threat. And that's why I'm calling it. And I think out of the four of us, I'm the only one going with
Croatia.
I think the three of you guys are going with Argentina. I think everybody went for France against Morocco. And I just wanted to confirm that. Is that true? So the only upset we're seeing is coming from me, from the second game. Is that right?
Yep.
I hope I'm right. We'll see.
We'll find out. All right. So any final thoughts? Let's bring up the bracket again and see. So I think games start on Tuesday, right?
Yep.
Sorry. Is it?
2 p.m. on Tuesday.
12:13 Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 1 p.m. Central Time for me.
Yeah, 1 p.m. exactly.
Yeah.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
First game
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Argentina, Croatia. Yeah. That's right.
So I know not to jump the gun, but we've talked about, I mentioned it earlier that you guys all predicted Brazil when you did the bracket before the tournament started. Looking at the four teams left, if you had to make a one statement call for who would win this tournament, who would it be?
I'll go first. And I'll say it's going to be France, Argentina final, and France will win it.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with Croatia, France for the final. And I think France will win. Disappointedly, I didn't want France to win. I wouldn't want France to win because that's a back-to-back World Cup. Come on, man. But at this point, I think I would give it to France. Now, if Croatia snatched it, I think I'm also okay. It goes to the European either way. I think Croatia, France will be. I think France already set a record, which is a defending champion making a semi-final.
All the way, yep.
Since 1998. I don't think that happened. So, I keep looking at this trend, and that's why I'm picking France. Remember, no nation had won the European nations and the World Cup back-to-back. France did it, France 98 and the Euros afterwards. So when France began to make this record, I think you guys should be worried.
Yeah. Hiya.
For the final, or who to win the cup?
Who to win? Or you could call both. Yeah.
I know I said Argentina to win, but I'm gonna go for a repeat of the final. I'm gonna say France, Croatia, and France to win as well.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I know.
France, Croatia again. That's tough.
That's it. You got it right
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna stick with Argentina, France, and Argentina will win the final.
Mhm.
It's a bold call, but I'm sticking. I mean,
It's
it's
not a
been my
bold. I
country.
mean,
What the heck?
anyone
Let
here
me
can
just
win
say
the final. To be
Morocco
honest,
for the
anyone here
cup.
can win the trophy.
Wait. I am about to say something.
I just say let me just go all out then. Morocco for the cup.
That's what we all want, but we'll see.
Yeah, like Biodun said, I think really any one of these four teams is a capable or worthy winner of the World Cup. I don't think we would be disappointed or shocked if any of these teams, were to win the cup. So with that, we'll take Ola's prediction.
Nice one.
All right, guys. So it's great.
Yeah. One final question. If you were to sign one player from all 32 teams for your club, who would that player be? Forget about their current contracts. Forget about their ties.
Mbappe for me.
Is that who Arsenal needs?
I know, right?
It's not about who you say who I want to sign,
For
not
your
about
club.
who the
For
club
your
needs,
club.
right?
For your
For your
club.
club.
Yeah.
For your club.
So if you are matching up the player with who the club needs, okay, that's a different thing. But if I want to sign a player randomly, I'll sign Mbappe. If I want to sign a match with the club, definitely I'll go with this guy again, the Moroccan guy, Amrabat. That's the guy. He's something else. He's a commander of the Arabian war. So I'd rather go with him. For us.
I was gonna have you go first, but since you called me, I'll take it. I think I'll sign Harry Kane.
Harry Kane. Okay.
I'm going with the need for my club, right?
Yeah.
Wait.
Out, and I think I'll sign Harry Kane.
Harry Kane? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why not? I need a scorer. I need somebody to deliver. I have midfielders that can do the job. I need a finisher.
Charles.
I can't even answer this question. It's a very big question.
Yeah, because your club has big problems. You can't solve.
Chelsea needs like 4.
We need like a team. I'm just joking.
Let me see what I have in my mind. So, you call one player, right? I'm afraid you might have to give a chance to select 10 players.
Like 3.
Actually, it needs to sign Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, actually Chelsea's issue is we just need to get a new coach.
I just lost Boja.
So which manager would you sign then?
I sign.
No. He's going to answer the same question. Answer the same question as everybody.
That's a very good question, man. This Moroccan manager, if he wins the tournament, I'm going to sign him.
But then you have to get an interpreter for him.
That's fine. I'm sure they have lots of those. But realistically, which player would I sign for Chelsea? It will be between Jamal Musiala and Jude Bellingham. You know, I asked that question a couple of weeks ago. Which one do you guys prefer?
Why?
And there's something in Chelsea midfield that's missing. There's a hunger, which Messi Mount has, but Messi Mount can drift wide, which I'm fine with, There's something about delivering from the midfield, driving from the midfield. Kovacic does it, but I'm not as impressed. Jamal Musiala or Jude Bellingham, I think they can fit into that role and get that job done. So yeah, that's my answer to the question. I can't pick one player because Chelsea has a lot of issues going on. But I think
we'll give you 2 players. Just take the 2. Just take the 2 players. We'll give you 2.
Funny.
Can we go to Ayo?
Those 2 guys.
So pick one, Charles. Seriously, Musiala, Bellingham.
Musiala.
All right, Ayo.
Okay. So for me, I would say that my answer, first of all, would be the same as Biodun. It would be Harry Kane, mostly because Jesus is injured and we need a striker. And for me, Harry Kane is probably the best striker in the world right now. Lewandowski is past the point, I would say. Harry Kane will be that guy because he can do the same work of dropping into midfield, holding up the ball, creating the same kind of danger that Jesus does for us. But worthy mentions, Bellingham has impressed me a lot. I've known about him. I called him out at the beginning of the World Cup. And Tchouaméni is the one I would say surprised me. I knew he was a good player, but he has held that midfield in a way that I didn't expect. And that is why I would maybe still pick them now to win the World Cup because of what he has shown he's able to deliver.
So are we missing Pogba in any way, by the way? No.
No.
Tchouaméni stepped into that role perfectly. Even
Perfectly.
I was watching the game with a friend, and even the way he plays, the shots that he took
Exactly.
for that first goal looked like a Pogba shot.
Yeah.
It was like they found a replica for Pogba who is, well
I think this, even stature-wise, I'm like, oh my God, this like a Pogba.
Pogba may not get into. He may not get back into that team if he's not
It'll
careful.
be tough. If he ever going to get into it, it's going to be tough. He will spend time on the bench.
Excellent segment, guys. Excellent conversations. Let's see how the game goes.
Yep.
Talk to you all later.
Hope for the best.
All right,
All right.
guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Talk to you guys later. Yeah, bye-bye.